Well, good morning, everyone. It is 9:08 in the morning on Monday, and I'm here driving again. And yes, this is week 9 of summer camp. And due to scheduling of school districts for this particular camp season, this is actually the last week of camp. We usually go to week 10. This is probably the first time in quite a number of years that we've only gone to week 9 here. So this is pretty insane. Week 9 is a 1 week camp. It is an intensive camp. Yes, the kids still put on a show. The biggest difference is that several things are cut out because of time constraints and castings done earlier and all this stuff. So I am still heading to a camp, but I did get to leave a little bit later because we're down to about 4 or 5 locations. That's half of the number of camps that we have normally that are running the week 9. As I had mentioned, due to scheduling conflicts with certain districts, certain camps had to close at the end of week 8, which gave everyone 4 complete sessions, which was fine, and it was really nice. Thursday and Friday I had the chance to film 4 of them, 3 dress rehearsals and a final performance, and it was really good products as usual. Kids had a good time, everybody had a good time. Of course it's stressful for everyone. I'm worn out. I've kind of gotten to the point where I get home and I'm pretty much passed out somewhere, hopefully, fortunately in a safe place. So the good news is that, I'm still working, and that's where we are. One of the amusing things is because I'm part of a substitute teacher, freelance network, there's been a bunch of calls already for substitute teachers, and I've still had to decline a bunch of jobs because I'm still working. I'm still working at a place I actually like. So I'm not going anywhere for at least the next 5 minutes, and I'm totally good with that. So right now I'm on the 110 heading to Pasadena. I had a couple options. So running joke is on Mondays I'm usually heading to Studio City, but since they just finished, they're for, yes, I know, Christy is so done. She's like, I'm out, bye. They're gone. I cleaned up Studio City on Friday. They're done for the year. Back to reality, sort of, kind of. Maybe for the next 9 days they have some break. And but Pasadena is still in session for 1 more week. West LA is in session. I believe Manhattan Beach is, and I think there's 1 or 2 other ones. I forget what they are. But anyway, as we kind of mosey into this week, my schedule's gotten a little lighter. I'm going to be doing a bit more office work, so I want to be, driving my butt all the way to Timbuktu and everything like that. So, it's Christy's like, bye. I'm like, I would be bye too. Because, we love doing this stuff. It's fun. But, when you're dealing with that many kids, you feel like you want to tear your hair out. And, I kind of laugh with all the years I've been in the education field, and every capacity that I've had the chance to be short of a administrator, nurse, or counselor. I've pretty much played everything else. I think that I'm starting to learn that it'll be a long time until I find myself in a permanent classroom again, if I ever do. I think I still have too much to give to the world at this point. Unfortunately, there's not enough places that want to pay me, so I'm just going to keep drifting along, providing my services as we go, and just kind of going with that. But summer camp, it's a thing. 6 summers of doing this. You learn a pattern, you do it. It becomes just a part of what you do, and something that you expect. And all the weird stuff that goes with it, you just kind of laugh at it because everyone else is laughing at you and with you at the same time. I'm okay with that. I wish that other places that I've worked at were like this, and I've been very fortunate to have been a part of this, as nutty and as insane, and the kind of things that we gripe about that really are kind of out of people's controls. Things that you can't really change because of just the circumstances, but you do what you can, and everyone everyone has a pretty good attitude about it, so I'm good with that. I've worked in quite a few depressing holes over the years, most of them schools, and it's been nice. It's always a relief when I'm here doing this, because I know that no matter how hard it is, it's never a depressing hole, because we're all allowed to laugh at it. And I've been very grateful for that kind of work environment. So, it's just, I think that's probably one of the reasons why I'm being intentionally picky about where I want to go next in terms of a full-time job, because I'm really sick of being verbally abused, and I don't like it. It's not healthy and conducive toward, good work environment, and having dealt with many of those places, and I'm good with being in a position where if I have to work in those places, it's for such a short period of time that I can leave it and no penalty or no harm will come unto me. I say that because from personal experience, one of the things that I've experienced having to work in certain types of educational situations, nobody loves you. They welcome you because they know that you're a body to fill a hole, but after that, you're pretty much a hole. And I don't want to be treated like that again for a very long time. I don't appreciate being, verbally abused and treated like trash, and I can only take so much of that. So, it's nice to be away from it all. So currently, I'm just passing the 105 freeway here. This is a direct route to Pasadena, so I had a couple options. The other option, if traffic was really bad here, I'm only expecting about a 20-minute delay on the 110. It could be worse, unless somebody decides to hit somebody else. But yeah, I could have taken the 710 to the 5, which would have taken me far out east and then had me drop in, but I don't have to do that today. We're okay. I don't even have to take Fast Track today, which is a nice change of pace, although I've gotten to the point where I've taken my Fast Track transponder with me in this car, and just in case I've had to use it. I actually had to use it a couple times last week because of how bad traffic was, and it was like 100 degrees, and I was pretty much burning. I wasn't happy about it, so that's what's been going on with that. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was actually pleasantly nice in terms of weather. I've had a few logistical weirdness issues in regards to one of my bikes being rented out. Yes, Eleanor is still in the shop. I got to figure this out. Yes, it's getting frustrating because I'm supposed to be leaving for Las Vegas right after Labor Day for a 4-day outing that I've been planning for over a year. So I'm really hoping that falls into place, because it's starting to scare me. Also, kind of the joke was, so as you know, I rent out my 2011 Kawasaki Versys on Riders Share, and I had a couple visiting from Brazil renting my bike for the week, and now, I was already aware that my tires were on their way out when they returned the bike, because they had put nearly 900 miles on the bike. My tires are done, and because of that, I have to go get a new set of tires, but there's a couple other things that need to be fixed, such as my exhaust that has been long time, whoever messed it up. I'm waiting for a part to come in for that, so that it can be reassembled, as since the bike's going to be already there for a new pair of tires. My tires are 2 years old. They need to be replaced, so it's okay. But it was kind of funny because on the gentleman's Instagram account, the one that the guy who rented my bike, there's this really cute picture of him, and I think it's his girlfriend who was there too. She's a nice lady too. They're parked on a hill facing the Hollywood sign, and it's really cute. It's like a really cute little kiss picture. I'm thinking in my head, first off, it's a really adorable picture, so I'm like, okay, that's really cute. I'm really glad my bike gets to be a part of that. And on the other hand, I'm going, oh, that's really cute. My bike is getting more action than I am. So I'm just sitting there going, that's great, kids. That's just great. Speaking of action, and not that kind of action, but so what happened was on Friday afternoon, my old coworker, my old friend from my very first teaching job at Los Angeles Unified. Okay, This was right before the recession and all this stuff, and she was the teacher who taught next door to me, and she was the science teacher. I was the digital media teacher. She messages me. We've kept in touch over the years, and she's like, "Hey, Christine, I have an extra ticket to the Weird Al Yankovic concert at the Greek Theater on Saturday night." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And she goes, "Yeah, sister-in-law dropped out. I just want to fill the seat. You want to come?" I'm like, "Oh, hell yes." And she goes, "They're really good seats, and I'll treat you." And I'm going, "Are you kidding?" Okay, fine. I'm going. I had to make an arrangement with the people who were renting my bike. They were supposed to return the bike at 10. Actually, I got home at 11:30 after the concert, and they arrived like 5 minutes later, so it was actually really good timing. But anyway, I gotta go to the Weird Al concert at the Greek Theater. Now, mind you, I've never been to the Greek Theater before. It's near Griffith Park. It's in an area of Los Angeles where the traffic is atrocious. I mean, going to the Greek Theater, you have to really plan like 2 hours out just to get just to get decent parking so that you're not stuck there, getting into the theater and stuff. And it's a beautiful venue, I will say that. Greek Theater is a beautiful venue. The concerts actually tend to end on the earlier side there, like the 10:30 hour. Main reason why is because of noise ordinances. The theater is actually nestled in an older residential area, so there's a lot of like older houses and like rich people who complain a lot. So it's really nice. It's enclosed. It's not enclosed. It's an outdoor venue, but it's just really pretty. So, and since it never rains in Southern California, we don't really worry about people getting wet. So yeah, Weird Al put on a hell of a show. I will say that was a great show. I've wanted to see him live for years. I've seen him live on DVD. I've seen some of his concerts and stuff. But Weird Al is just one of those Los Angeles treasures. He's from Linwood. That's why if you've seen his what's it called? His second or third to last album, Straight Outta Linwood. That's the album that has the song White and Nerdy in it, which he did perform, and yes, he did ride a Segway when he did it, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, White and Nerdy, it's just that came out probably my last year teaching at LA Unified, if I recall. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun. He did a lot of the songs. I mean, he's got tons of songs. You really couldn't choose just one. But yeah, now Weird Al put a heck of a show on. That was a lot of fun. We were like 5 rows from the front stage, from the front. He was just a lot of fun. And the coolest part about it, and it's it was a very attentive security guard. I didn't realize he was going to do this for me, but where he was standing right behind the set list piece of paper was right behind him, and at the end of the show, he actually gave me the set list paper. And talking to one of my other friends, who happens to be a journalist, and she had watched the Weird Al concert at the OC Fair on Thursday night, so she already knew what the set list was. But yeah, we were just looking through the set list and realized, that's Weird Al's handwriting on a couple of the notes. And that was like the coolest thing ever. So I was able to somewhat get it safely home. I had to put it in my bag on my bike, so it got a couple little bends in the paper. But I'm gonna put that in a protective sleeve and put that right next to my signed Lea Salonga program that I got when Lea Salonga was in San Diego back in April. That was a lot of fun too. I enjoyed that. So I'm starting this shrine of like musical acts that I've had a chance to go to. So let's see. I have my autographed Johnny Mathis photo. I have my autographed Lea Salonga program, and now I have Weird Al's set list from his Strings Attached tour. And it notably says that it is version 2 of the set list. So apparently they had changed something when they were on tour. So that was super cool. And I enjoyed that quite a bit. So that was my Saturday. It involved a lot of lane splitting. So since I'm on the borrowed bike at this point in time, and that doesn't have a side case, I had to be very creative as to what I took with me. Had to bring a cable lock so I could lock my helmet and my jacket to my bike, and all this other stuff. But yeah, getting up to the Greek Theater, that was no walk in the park. I'm really glad that I have a bike, because I pretty much had to lane split the entire 405 and the 101 to get there. And also, if you are planning to go to the Greek Theater, and I mean, I pretty much got premium parking. Motorcycles get to park pretty much next to the venue, and it's $20 to park a motorcycle, but it's like anywhere from $25 to $75 to park a car. And if you're paying $25 to park your car at the Greek Theater, you're gonna have to walk a little bit of a ways. So it's not like it's not like it's much of a convenience. But yeah, motorcycles got pretty much front priority parking in the VIP lot. I guess because there aren't very many of us. I mean, when I parked there were only about 7 motorcycles there when I parked. So it was a good. I was okay with that, So yeah, that was pretty much Saturday. Oh, and by the way, in terms of location, if you want to know how fast I'm moving, I'm now approaching Exposition Park. So I'm just touching into the USC area. Yeah, I'm going that slow. So I'm glad that you're just kind of popping along and listening along here. But yeah, Sunday was an interesting one. Went grocery shopping. I have a friend who's staying over for a little bit, and I'm realizing quickly that not having a car really does start a bunch of random adventures. And I found that using Lyft is very useful in this case, and having to walk all over the place and acquire a bunch of groceries. Yeah, it's a logistical thing. I think that. And I'll just say this, I'm learning to some degree that even though cars are time-saving, cars can also make you lazy. And I definitely got my steps in yesterday. Got to acquire a few new gadgets for cooking, and also stuff for the pets. And I got one of those really cool, I call it the mobile teacher cart. The infamous mobile teacher cart that every teacher who doesn't have a home, which is like a lot of them, have to wheel around, carrying all of their like earthly possessions from classroom to classroom. I got one of those for $10, thanks to a coupon and the fact that they're on sale right now. So if any of you guys need one of those rolling carts at Staples with that fold, they're like $15 right now until Labor Day. So I do recommend, if you want one, you should probably get one now, because otherwise they shoot back up to $30. I got mine for $10 because I got an email since rewards member. It's like, here's $5 to use, $5 off coupon off anything, whatever, at the store. And I just went in and just got that card because I wanted one of those for a while. I'm a traveler, right? Of course, I turn around as soon as I get it, head next door to PetSmart and pick up a bunch of pet supplies and put them in the cart. It was pretty sweet. I had a good time with that. But yeah, I think that one of the challenges that I have seen lately, especially with just the busy schedule, is that sometimes you feel like not everything's getting done, and the stress I'd say it builds up after a while and it hits you, and it's hard to step back and just remind yourself that you really just got to take everything one thing at a time, and things will fall into place when they do. I think it's just hard because I had to make some moves financially in order to ensure that I still had a house, at least a home in August that was paid on time. So I think that in some cases, the kind of stress that comes with just making sure that you're secure in where you are, it does catch up, and just life, it's hard sometimes. Going into the school year, I know that I will have things. I will have work set up. I have my contingencies. I have all these things. It's just having been a freelancer for the last several years, off and on. I do what I can to survive, but I'll tell you, sometimes you want to take a break from just trying to survive. It's not the most ideal situation to be in, but I guess you do have to pay a price for your freedom, as it has been said many times in history. So that's kind of where things are. For the upcoming week, it's pretty much I'm only scheduled to drive like 3 days this week. Doing a bunch of office work, but yeah, I hope to do some more foodie experiments. Yesterday was nice. I did spam musubi for dinner, and I found that if you do, 2 cups of rice, that's just enough rice, actually. I didn't even have any wastage. I was pretty good with this. If you do 2 cups of dry rice and 1 can of Spam musubi, it's just enough to make nice, big, and hearty, pretty musubi. If you're on my Instagram, you can take a look at that. I did a lot better with version 2, and at least I know that I can competently make Spam musubi if asked to, and I'm really glad I can do that. So there's a lot of rice involved with Spam musubi. I did pick up 4 new cans of Spam because I was down to 1 after my last experiment that ended up feeding The Office and Manhattan Beach. And I got a few different flavors. I picked up another one of the reduced sodium. I don't do the reduced fat one. That one's kind of, you need the fat, especially if you're cooking on a non-stick pan. You need the fat, so that doesn't really help. But I did get the reduced sodium because you're gonna end up making up for it when you season with soy sauce. So there's no point in having all the extra sodium. I did get a garlic flavored one. I got the teriyaki flavored one, which already has the sauce in it, and that one's actually been prescribed as like the one that you use for Spam musubi, although classic Spam is perfectly fine. I mean, not too many people use the teriyaki one because it's harder to find in some stores. And I also got the one with Portuguese sausage in it. So that one has chopped up Portuguese sausage. There were a couple other choices. There was one that had turkey in it. There's another one that had garlic. I think I might have gotten the garlic one. I'll have to check that. But I ended up getting 4 cans. If you live near Tokyo Central, which Torrance and Gardena have like 3 of them. And there's a couple other places, but Tokyo Central is currently selling their Spam for $10, so it's the cheapest you're going to get it, because they're usually about $3 a can when you buy it at the store, like a regular store. So they're on sale right now for basically $2.50 each, which is pretty good, I mean, I wouldn't argue. I mean, not that I'm a Spam addict or anything like that, but occasionally, it's not a bad idea to have some sort of canned meat in your pantry, because sometimes, you don't have time to go out to the store, or you just really want Spam and eggs, because you can, and it's a good breakfast thing. I mean, people do it all the time. Like, I'm learning now that, having a pantry stocked with things that I can just whip up and do fun things with is very invaluable. I'm still not a fan of the cooking for one thing, but I'm finding that there's a lot of mouths that I can feed with my fun experiments. And if there's a fun experiment that you'd like me to try, and you see it on the internet, I would be more than happy to accommodate that and take pictures. Why not? Have fun with this, right? There's so many good recipes right now. I mean, back in the day when it was just like you need to buy a cookbook and you need to do this and this and this, and then you realize this is just one interpretation of many different kinds of ways that I could make the same dish. And then the internet pops up, and now everyone's got food recipes everywhere. And I have to say, I've had a lot of fun doing this so far. I've been staying home and cooking a lot more, just because, well, I'm not having to go as far out for work as I normally do. And not only that, but I just don't need to really do anything insane. I don't. So, yeah, I've been really glad to, be able to do that. So, right now I am approaching the 110 and 10 interchange here. So that's Interstate 10 for all you out-of-staters. Of course, the freeways here in California are such a part of our lives. We just call them by the numbers because it's just we are. But, yeah, that is the 110 and it's California 10, like California 110, and then there's Interstate 10. So I'm entering downtown LA right now. Don't know how good reception's going to be. There used to be a really bad dead zone as I was approaching, but I think they've resolved that by now. So I think I could continue to broadcast. As you can see, I'm just rambling on. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened this weekend, and a lot of good things. It's this is more as one of my other coworkers had mentioned, that doing these broadcasts is kind of like, here's my flow of consciousness. Like, what are you really thinking about when you're on the freeway and just kind of thinking about life? Well, I mean, you have a lot of time to think when you're on freeways here in LA. I mean, it's 9:33 in the morning right now, and I mean, I'm probably now about to hit 35 miles an hour, and then about to slow down again. There's too much to think about, which is kind of funny because whenever I look to my left or right, there's usually someone like doing their makeup, or they might as well just been writing their dissertation with a laptop on their lap at this point. I haven't seen it that bad, although I was in Reno once, and there was a guy who was playing his guitar with his hands and driving the car with his feet somewhere on Interstate 80 in Reno. But that's Reno, and Nevada is weird anyway. With that being said, as I see the Staples Center and the Convention Center to my right, I hope everyone has a good day today. We're going to do our best. We can get through this. Some school districts have started. Some school districts, I think today's the first day for some of them. From what I understand, certain LAUSD schools don't even begin until the 19th of September. And some schools have started. Have already started. I think, if I recall, Hawthorne School District starts this upcoming week, if not next week. So they're about to count down too. But then again, they don't finish until late June because they take 3 weeks off for Christmas, in which everybody forgets everything that they've learned anyway because nobody really cares there in the first place about what they're learning. They're kids. They don't get the support at home. We're there to have to try to compensate for what they've lost. But it's what we do, right? It's what we do for education and the greater good. We get paid like shit, but we already knew that going in. But for some reason, we still like it because we are just gluttons for punishment. Anyway, be good out there. Do good things. Be nice to each other. Keep the pointy objects away from other people's eyes and use them to cut the cucumbers and nobody else. I appreciate that very much. All right. Have a good day, peeps. Do your thing. That kind of thing. Later.